This is the second video in a two-part series talking about how grains impact weight. In the first video, we talked about how grains cause us to be fat. Now we're talking about how grain elimination causes extravagant weight loss. So these are the principles that led to my Wheat Belly books, but I'm talking about it now so that people who are starting out in the Undoctored program, based on my new book, Undoctored, Why Healthcare Has Failed You and How You Can Become Smarter Than Your Doctor, so everyone has a good grounding in some of these grain principles that came from the Wheat Belly world. But in Undoctored, we're going to take the basic principles of Wheat Belly and expand them, make them even more powerful and effective so that you can get even greater health effects by incorporating new information, new tools for collaboration, new health tracking tools, all in the name of giving you extravagantly wonderful personal health without the doctor or the healthcare system. So why does grain elimination lead to such extravagant weight loss? So it's typical to lose 15 to 18 pounds in the first month, 35, 40 pounds in the first 6 months, and lots more. There's variation, of course. You know, a woman who's 140 pounds at age 40 will lose weight at a different rate than a guy who's 33 and weighs 273 pounds as a sedentary. We're all different, right? So I can only give kind of ballpark figures. But this is all achieved without me ever saying, cut your calories, cut your portion size, exercise more, move more, eat less. You'll never hear those kinds of ideas from me, and hopefully never see them in any of the Wheat Belly nor the Undoctored social media or blogs or websites. So weight is lost despite nobody counting calories. But if you did count calories, you would see that once you're grain-free, your calorie intake drops. Typically 400 to 800 fewer calories per day, as much as 1,500 calories less per day. And that's because, not because we're restricting calories, but because you removed those gliadin-derived opioid peptides that act as opiates in the human brain and drive appetite, that incessant gotta eat more appetite. So it's a very powerful effect. So you'll hear people who are grain-free say things like, I had breakfast, I didn't feel like eating lunch. In fact, dinner rolled around, I wasn't sure so I ate something. Hunger is very different. It's not that ravenous, driving, rumbling, desperate hunger. It's a soft reminder that you might eat something. So it's easy to control your diet once you removed grains because you've lost the grain-derived opioid peptides. Recall that there's a complex carbohydrate in grains called amylopectin A that acts more like table sugar or worse. Ounce for ounce, it raises blood sugar higher than table sugar. You remove the amylopectin A of grains, because you remove all grains, and you don't have that high blood sugar, you don't have that high blood insulin that causes fat deposition. Insulin does this instead. So there's no insulin or very little insulin around to provoke fat deposition, and thereby allowing fat to be mobilized instead, weight lost. And if you don't have the high blood sugar from the amylopectin A, you don't have the low blood sugar that makes you ravenous. So all you have is this. You don't have those cycles of hunger because the amylopectin A is not raising your blood sugar sky high, nor are you having hypoglycemic episodes. Recall that grains are highly inflammatory. The gliadin itself, gliadin-derived peptides, wheat germ agglutinin, and several others are highly inflammatory. So that's why lots of people who are grain consumers have that bloated face, redness here, seborrhea. When they go grain-free, even in the first few days or a week, they may only lose a few pounds, say 4 or 5 pounds, but their faces change. Their faces shrink dramatically, out of proportion to the modest weight loss, and their facial coloring changes. That seborrhea redness goes away. And that shows the inflammation is receding. You also lose a lot of water. That's why we tell people when they go grain-free to hydrate well and salt your food, because you're going to lose a lot of water and a lot of salt that first week or 10 days or so. So you lose weight rapidly. Some of it is inflammatory edema, water retention. But that's good because it means you've reversed inflammation. Put those three effects together. The removal of gliadin-derived opioid peptides that drive appetite, the removal of amylopectin A that sends blood sugar sky high, and reversal of inflammation. And you have the key to extravagant, virtually effortless weight loss. Calorie intake will be less, but not because you're counting calories or limiting calories, but because you're just not hungry anymore. Your blood sugars won't go high without the grains like they used to all the time you had grains in any meal. And inflammation, whether it's shown as seborrhea or psoriasis, or rheumatoid arthritis, or acid reflux, or IBS, or fibromyalgia, goes away or gets dramatically better. So all this is all from getting rid of grains, the foods we were told should dominate our diet. Do you see how far wrong conventional dietary advice has gone? Just doing the opposite, eating no grains whatsoever, gives you back extraordinary personal control over weight and over health too.